Welcome everyone to our CFC Wildlife Meetup. We have some amazing charities with us today to help highlight World Wildlife Conservation Day. Between speakers, we're going to share a trivia question, so please open your chat and be ready to share your answers. We've asked the charities to remain throughout the event so that they can answer your questions at the end of the program. The CFC is in its 64th year of existence and has raised more than $9 billion. Just another way that federal workers make our world and lives so much better. Now let's get started. Our first speaker today is Allison Meredith, the Outreach Coordinator for the Wildlife Center of Virginia, CFC code 53001. Take it away, Allison.
Yes, thank you so much for having me today. As you already know, my name is Allison, and I am from the Wildlife Center of Virginia, which is a wildlife hospital located in Waynesboro, Virginia, that cares for sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife native to the state. We receive most of our patients from the central Virginia area, but we take in native wildlife from all over the state, and we are actually the only hospital in the state that can care for black bears specifically, so that's exciting. And last year, we treated over 4,600 animals in our hospital, and since our founding in 1982, we've treated more than 100,000 animals total. So we are a treat to release hospital, meaning that our goal is always to release the animals we receive whenever possible. That said, if an animal is deemed non-releasable or it is unable to survive in the wild for some reason, but it is an appropriate fit for human care, then we also have a wonderful team of education ambassador animals that help us teach folks all over about the importance of wildlife and ways that we as humans can look out for our wild neighbors a little bit. We're also a teaching hospital, which means that we invite students from all over the world to come basically work alongside our vet and rehabilitation teams and receive hands-on experience in wildlife medicine and wildlife rehabilitation. So our students not only go on to further help wildlife in Virginia, but also wildlife internationally, which means that the work that we're doing here at the center in Waynesboro impacts far more than the animals we treat here in our hospital. And not to mention, we're also very involved in research efforts to help gather more thorough and comprehensive information on wildlife and best practices in wildlife medicine. On top of that, we are a nonprofit organization, so we don't receive any sort of funding whatsoever from the federal, state, or local government. And so all of the work that we do here at the center is possible because of generous donors like you all who believe in our cause and want to help us fulfill our mission of teaching the world to care about and care for wildlife and the environment. And one of the biggest challenges we face as a nonprofit is, of course, funding. If we don't receive enough funding, it can impact our ability to effectively treat our patients with the appropriate supplies and medication, or we may not be able to access certain basically supplies or nutrient foods that animals need to recover and to grow. And lack of funding can also impact our organization's ability to compensate our staff members for the incredible work they're doing, caring for our patients and training that next generation of wildlife professionals. So by selecting us as your CFC, you can not only help us provide life-saving care to native Virginia wildlife, ranging from tiny little salamanders and frogs to large black bears and bald eagles, but you can also help us teach folks about wildlife, whether it be in the context of professional training or public outreach. And with all that being said, there are a lot of ways to support us that don't necessarily involve monetary donations. We also rely really heavily on supply and food donations, as well as our wonderful team of volunteers. And our volunteers assist our work in nearly every area of our organization, frankly. And so that includes inside our hospital, providing veterinary treatment, working with our rehab team to exercise and feed our patients, assisting with housekeeping tasks, helping our outreach team educate others about the wonders of wildlife, and even transporting animals to and from our hospital, which can make a life or death difference for countless wild animals. So to give you all an idea of the impact you'd be making by choosing us as your CFC, I'd like to share some photos of our patients and our work, so we can go on to the next slide. So this sweet gal is an orphaned bobcat kitten we received this summer, and she is still with us receiving care, so we can hopefully release her back into the wild this coming spring. And next slide. This is a photo from one of our bald eagle releases. We treat an average of 48 bald eagles every single year, and we absolutely love inviting members of the public to help us celebrate when we are able to release one of these very majestic animals back to the wild. And next slide. This is a woodland box turtle patient receiving treatment by one of our lovely students. So this is a great example of what we do as a teaching hospital. And next slide. I think this is a really wonderful example of how it often takes a team of dedicated individuals to provide that world-class veterinary care to our patients. So pictured here is a Canada goose undergoing a surgical procedure surrounded by a team of staff and students and volunteers. And last slide. So this final slide, we have one of our newest education ambassadors, Lucy the Virginia opossum. Lucy came to us this summer, actually this July, as a young possum with very severe injuries to the right side of her face, which were likely the result of a predator attack. And our team was thankfully able to save her life, but she sadly needed one of her eyes removed. And since she would really struggle to survive in the wild with only one single eye instead of those two, she stays here at the center and helps us teach people about her species and ways that we can protect animals just like her. So there's also a little bit of contact information listed there, including our website, which I definitely encourage you guys to visit if you are ever interested in learning more about us, since we try to keep it as updated as possible with the most updated information. And especially, I would encourage you to visit our critter cams as well, where you can actually view some of our education ambassadors as well as some patients. But I think that is everything I have. So thank you all so much. And I hope to hear from some of you as supporters.
That was a great presentation. Thank you so much, Allison. Wonderful work. Now, let's test our wildlife knowledge with a quick trivia question. You can go ahead and drop your answers in the chat, and here's the question. What animal is often considered the smartest animal and the closest living relative to humans? Pratiksha, do we have some answers in the chat?
Thank you, Robin. We do. We have a couple answers coming in. The first answer is primate. I'm just chimpanzee. We're getting a lot of chimpanzee. The correct answer is chimpanzees. Back to you, Jamie.
Thank you guys. Good job with the trivia there. Very, very smart. Our next speaker today is John Kennedy. He's the president of Lyro Primate Fund, the CFC code 47383. Take it away, John.
Thank you. And thank you for having me here. To all the attendees out there, as a retired public servant myself, I just want to say that I really value what you do for us and what you do every day. And given the current climate, I am really doubly appreciative that you would take the time out to attend this wildlife meetup. So with that, let's dive right in. Next slide, please. I always like to start by talking about the core belief of Lyro primates. We believe that all wildlife is entitled to live a wild and natural life, the type of life that nature intended. And that is the reason why we do what we do. Next slide, please. So what is it that we do? We run the largest primate sanctuary in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Currently, we're taking care of 130 chimpanzees, 110 monkeys, assorted other animals, 290 animals altogether. And it's important to know that all of these animals who are brought to our sanctuary are survivors. They're survivors either of poaching or the illegal trade in endangered species as pets. So with poaching, when poachers go out into the forest in the Congo, they hunt the larger chimpanzees for meat, but sometimes they'll abandon the little ones who are too small. And chimpanzees, as the trivia question just said, very intelligent, very social creatures, and they depend on their troop for survival. So when the little ones are abandoned, they're really not equipped to survive on their own in the forest. In other cases, there is a trade in exotic pets, endangered species. Chimpanzees are an endangered species. And people will go out and capture them, which is illegal in the Congo as it is in the United States. So when the authorities are able to rescue some of these victims of poaching or the illegal pet trade, they bring them to Luwero Primate Rehabilitation Center. That's our sanctuary. Can we go to the next slide? So what we do really can be summed up in 3 words: rescue, rehabilitate, and release. The rescue we talked about, we assist the Congolese authorities to make sure that when they are confiscating these animals and transporting them to the sanctuary, that the health is taken care of along that way. Rehabilitated because all of these victims come to us with injuries of some kind. Sometimes they're bullet wounds, sometimes they've been hurt in some other way. Many are malnourished because they've either been abandoned in the forest, or when they're moved along the trade towards the international pet market, they're often held in abhorrent conditions and they come to us dehydrated, malnourished. We provide them with the veterinary care, the proper nutritious food that they need, the security that they need to rehabilitate, to recover from these wounds. Why? Because ultimately our goal will be to release them back to the forest when it is safe and appropriate to do so. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute. If we could go to the next slide. Just to give you some background on Luwero primates, the sanctuary was formed over 20 years ago by the Congolese government when they really first started to enforce the environmental laws in the country. And they realized that when they confiscated these animals, they needed a place that could take care of them. And so they formed this sanctuary. However, it's not part of the Congolese government. It is a not-for-profit corporation, and we depend entirely upon donations for all of the operating expenses. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge that we are facing right now is that the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo has been a war zone for several years, but most especially in this year. Starting in January, rebel troops have taken control of the eastern part of the country, which is exactly where our sanctuary is located. The result of that is that prices for food and fuel have really skyrocketed. Right now, we're spending $400 a week more for food for the animals than we were last year at this time. So those expenses have really increased. Next slide, please. Which means that every single donation is vital to us, and it's vital to the residents, the animals that we take care of. In addition to that, it's important to know that we buy all of the food for these animals directly from local farmers and at local markets in the area around Luwero. So donations not only help us feed the animals, but they also provide an economic lifeline to local farmers, local families during a time of this tremendous uncertainty and danger caused by the war. So those donations that come in now really do 2 very good things and have a tremendous impact, a tremendous positive impact. We could go to the next slide, please. I'd like to close by bragging a little bit, I guess, about our sanctuary. Luwero Primates was named the Outstanding International Sanctuary of 2025 by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, which is the international accreditation body for animal sanctuaries. And that's really a testimony to the skill and dedication of our staff on the ground, who are able to maintain the high standards that we have of animal welfare, even under the tremendously difficult and dangerous circumstances that they're facing every day. So there's our social media handles, our website. There's plenty more information on our website. If you're inclined, please take a look and check us out. Next slide, please. again, I just want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for taking the time out to meet with us and the other charities that are here today. Thank you.
Thanks, John. That was such important information, and what a wonderful presentation. Time for our second trivia question. So get those answers ready in the chat for what are the largest land-living mammals in the world? All right, let's see what you think. Pratiksha, take it away.
Thank you, Robin. I am seeing humpback whales, elephants, so many elephants, blue whales, hippos, elephants. These are all great guesses. The correct answer is elephants. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so our next speakers, I should say, are Christine Santos and Nicole Teague, representing the Global Sanctuary for Elephants, CFC code 33313. Take it away, ladies.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here today. We're actually going to start with a video, and then after that, we'll talk a little bit more about the elephants.
Elephants are beings that live in our imagination since childhood. Our fascination with them is well-deserved. After all, they are unique, intelligent, and complex creatures. They have consciousness and culture, and so they're able to develop strong bonds, feelings, and suffer. Because they're so special, we want them around, making their existence our entertainment. We take them from their habitats and their families to display them in circuses and zoos. We bring them to continents where they do not belong. We traumatize their bodies and their souls. By denying life and freedom, we deprive them of being elephants. Elephant Sanctuary Brazil was created to transform the lives and the future of South America's captive elephants. Here at the sanctuary, they can recover from trauma and express their natural behavior to finally become free and belong to a true family. A team of specialized professionals are always prepared to take care of each one's physical and psychological health, and to help them explore their new life amidst nature. And a huge community around the world that supports our work and hopes that every single elephant on South American soil earns their passage to freedom. The simple reality is that we are responsible. We are the ones that brought them here, and now it's up to all of us to give back, to give each of these elephants the life they truly deserve. The life of an elephant.
So you just heard from our co-founder, Scott Blaze. He and Kat Blaze founded GSC, Global Sanctuary for Elephants, in 2013. Our mission is to create vast, safe spaces for captive elephants where they are able to heal physically and emotionally. We opened our first sanctuary in 2016 in Mato Grosso, Brazil. It's 2,800 acres of lush, diverse land that is also home to native wildlife. It's one of only 3 elephant sanctuaries in the world, and the only one outside of the U.S. Accredited by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries. Next slide, please. So why sanctuary? Thousands of elephants in zoos and circuses around the world suffer from isolation, malnutrition, abuse, and lack of adequate exercise. These elephants are in need of sanctuary, but too few places exist to be able to even care for a fraction of them. Next slide, please.
Life at the sanctuary stands in stark contrast to the elephants' former lives. At sanctuary, the elephants roam freely across vast, wide open spaces. They play in mud wallows, forage for food, and enjoy lush, winding paths. Due to their histories in captivity, we supplement their diets with fresh fruits, grains, and supplements. We also prioritize each elephant's health with expert veterinary care. Beyond the physical care they receive, life at the sanctuary is also about emotional and psychological healing. Many elephants arrive showing signs of deep trauma. At the sanctuary, they have the opportunity to form deep relationships with other elephants, bonds that bring comfort, understanding, and emotional healing. Equally transformative is the autonomy they regain. For the first time in their lives, they decide where to go, what to do, and with whom. Next slide, please. We have rescued 9 female Asian elephants and 2 female African elephants from across South America, each with a unique journey to sanctuary. All of them have spent decades in circuses, roadside attractions, or inadequate zoo facilities. Next slide, please.
Okay, so meet Kenya. Kenya is a female African elephant who spent 40 years in a small, barren, solitary enclosure at what is now called Eco Park Mendoza. And while there, she lived alone, and her only companion was a painting of an elephant on the surrounding cement wall that you see right there. Next slide, please. Fortunately, earlier this year, Kenya came to sanctuary, marking the end of elephant captivity in Argentina. Over the space of 5 days and 2,100 miles, our team accompanied her on a carefully planned journey across the continent. Next slide, please.
On arriving, Kenya has relearned what it means to be an elephant. She enjoys cool soaks in mud wallows and knocking down trees. She's known for her big personality while also being warm, welcoming, and sweet. Unfortunately, as with most captive elements, Kenya's body shows the painful consequences of captivity. It's unlikely that she ever had a single instance of foot care before she reached the sanctuary, and all 4 of her feet show significant signs of damage and foot disease. Next slide, please.
Your generosity gives elephants like Kenya and future elephants the opportunity to heal physically and emotionally. By supporting GSC, you're providing them with a lifetime of peace, dignity, and care, and ensuring that they finally experience the life that they deserve. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for your consideration. We're here to answer any questions, and if you are interested in our mission, please connect with us through our website and social media. Thank you again.
That was a very enlightening presentation. Thank you so much, Christina Nicole. We have one final trivia question for you today. Remember to put those answers in the chat. What is the only mammal capable of true flight? Tiksha?
Thank
You got anything in the
Robin.
chat?
Not yet. I am seeing bat. And yes. Oh, nope, more. Yep, I'm seeing a lot of bat. The correct answer is bats. Back to you, Jamie.
Looks like we can't put anything over on you guys today. You knew that one. I did not know that one prior to getting this event together. Okay, so our final speaker today is Karen Kimball. She's the Director of Philanthropy for Bat Conservation International, CFC code 12064. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today. Again, my name is Karen Kimball. I'm with Bat Conservation International. Actually, next slide. And since 1982, BCI has worked around the globe to prevent bat extinctions. And these are just some of the areas that we are currently working in. But we'll go to the next slide. So some of you have probably never given a second thought to bats outside of maybe Halloween, but they are really integral to our planet. They're keystone species in some areas, and they're found pretty much everywhere except Antarctica. Now this slide is a little bit outdated with the 1,400 species. As of September, we're now up to 1,500, so new species are being identified all the time. But why are they important? Why do we care? Why should we protect bats? There's more than 600 species of plants that depend on bats for seed dispersal, including a lot of pioneer plants that are the first to grow in deforested areas. So bats are really great at helping forests regrow, especially after fires. Bat pollination occurs in over 500 species of plants, including some of our favorite food staples like mango and banana. So aside from the bees and butterflies that you may think of when you think of pollination, bats are also huge pollinators. And then globally, insect-eating bats save the agricultural industry between $54 billion and $1 trillion every year. In the US, that's about $3.7 billion. And that is based on savings in crop losses due to pests, and then also the reduction in the costs of pesticide use. And less pesticides means cleaner groundwater. Next slide, please. We like to say that bats aren't scary, but losing them is. They are under rapidly increasing threats from habitat destruction, invasive species, climate change, disease, collisions with wind turbines, and lots of other stresses. Loss of bats affects our water quality, our crops, and the ability of forests to recover after fire. But by protecting them, we protect the functioning of ecosystems worldwide. We help ensure food supplies by controlling pests naturally, and we're discovering medical advances. Next slide. So CFC funding is vital to our work. We do this in 4 key areas. Endangered species interventions is where we need to take immediate action because of an imminent threat to a species, like maybe their only maternity roost is in one cave that's about to be paved over for development. Then there's protecting and restoring landscapes, and that is where our focus is on restoring roost and foraging habitats for bats whose main threat is habitat destruction and degradation. So for instance, we have an agave program throughout the southwestern US and Mexico that is basically replanting native agaves that have been lost due to overgrazing and other stresses. And these are plants that these bats rely on for their migration every year. And there were just areas that they would starve through. And so we are replanting those. There's research and scalable solutions, where we are at the forefront of filling data gaps in our understanding of bats and their needs and finding solutions to some of their major threats like diseases and, again, collisions with wind turbines. And then expiring through experience, we try to provide meaningful bat experiences that inspire people to take action to protect them. And I do have a short video to share on the next slide.
At Bat Conservation International, our dedication runs deep. Driven by science and focused on results, we travel worldwide seeking the best opportunities for conservation. From arid deserts to lush jungles, from forest canopies to subterranean depths, we're working to protect the most vulnerable among us. Bats are essential to ecosystems across the Earth, and their impact on the health and prosperity of human communities and the environment is immeasurable. But they are facing unprecedented threats to their survival. Today, more than 200 species of bats are nearing extinction. Using cutting-edge tools, technology, and training, we're working alongside local communities and partners to protect important natural areas and to restore imperiled ecosystems. Our goal is to end bat extinctions worldwide, because by taking care of the smallest creatures, we take care of our food, water, health, and planet. We invite you to join us. Come discover more at batcon.org and find out how you can become part of one of the greatest conservation stories of our lifetime.
Next slide. So we would love to have you join us and our global community. When you give to BCI through the CFC, your donation directly funds critical conservation to end bat extinctions. So every dollar counts, whether it's $1 a pay period, which can grow 2 agaves in the southwestern US or Mexico, or if you're feeling extraordinarily generous or you just won the lottery, $100 a pay period can fund research scholarship for the next generation of bat scientists who we really rely on to broaden our capacity around the world. Next slide. So that's it for me. Follow us and learn more. I hope that you've learned a little bit about bats today, and follow us on whatever social media channel is your preference, or follow us on our newsletter. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Karen. Dare I say bats are kind of adorable. This is a new thing for me.
They are.
So just want to say thank you again to our 4 incredible charities for sharing your work, your passion with us today. While the wildlife that you protect, restore, and defend benefits every one of us. And you've really reminded us how important it is to be good stewards of this planet that we all share. These 4 organizations represent more than 5,000 charities in this year's campaign, each doing vital work and offering meaningful places to direct your giving. To learn more about these amazing 4 charities and thousands of others, please visit our website at givecfc.org. Once you're there, you can make your gift by simply clicking the blue donate button that's on the top right of each screen. By giving through the CFC, you are part of a long and proud tradition of supporting communities here and across the world. We appreciate your time, your mission, and the impact that you make every single day.